Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation.
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. So, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself, man?
I'm good, man. Like, listen, subscribe. Thanks to everybody that views us, everyone that gets into the comments and likes to run your mouth because you don't want to show your face because every time you take a selfie on your cell phone, your phone cracks some more. Shout out to our sponsors. Doc Loves the Kids, Crime Scene Seasoning. Go ahead and grab you a box. You know what I'm saying? It goes to the less fortunate. It helps out the community. All right, on to the show.
But we do love the comments, though.
I love them all.
We love the comments. We really
all.
want you guys to keep on commenting.
Yeah.
If you like the show, if you dislike the show, whatever it is, keep on commenting. It helps us to grow, helps us to see maybe even some things that we could adjust and fix in what we do, or just say, too bad.
Yeah, or if we missed anything, or there's other information that you think that you know that we don't, say it in the comments.
Definitely.
You know, we're equal opportunists. I'm not left or right. I'm right in the middle because y'all birds is crazy. You know? So today, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance officially accepted the GOP nomination at the Republican National Convention. Even Melania Trump joined her husband as he signed the paperwork, making a rare public appearance. She's been largely absent from the campaign trail and had yet to appear publicly at the convention. Trump was set to deliver the keynote speech this evening, yesterday. As you're watching this, following major speaker Tucker Carlson, Eric Trump, and Hulk Hogan. The former president promised his remarks will be more moderate in tone after he called for a cooler rhetoric after he survived an assassination attempt on Saturday night. You know, hold on real quick. Yeah. Just like Mike Tyson once graciously said, he's like, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
That's true.
I mean, I looked at Donald Trump like, you see, he ain't never been in a fight. I've said this before on the show, and I said it off camera. Yeah. I was like, Donald Trump's the kind of person that has two of his friends hold the guy so he can punch him in the stomach 3 times. You talking to my girl?
Hey, I'm like this, man. He had Hulk Hogan as like basically the person that can help bring him out for the night. I'm like, Hulk Hogan has said some of the most racist things. It's like it's fitting to kind of to what they got going on there. The people who they're bringing out there, the people who they have at their convention, people who are supporting them. You look at even Elon Musk. I know this is a whole nother segment, but he's pledged us to give $45 million a month up until the campaign is over, up until the election day, to help with Trump's nomination.
That's pocket change.
I mean, with Trump's becoming president. I mean, he says pocket change.
That's pocket change to Elon.
I mean, yeah, definitely, but $45 million a month is a lot to put into it.
He be selling them ugly cyber trucks. Them things look like PlayStation 2 graphics.
But he's going to buy influence, because what's going to happen is he's going to probably have some type of he doesn't necessarily even have to do it, but he can go against China with just more sanctions on EVs. Everyone's already putting sanctions on
Have you
China.
seen those China's electric cars?
They're pretty nice.
They're nice. They're really nice.
At the same time, are they quality made? That's the biggest thing. Like, things can look good, but what kind of quality is it?
As a person that has a lot of Chinese products in my house, I can say I concur. They're nice cars. I showed them. They had a clip of them. They were nice. I need to touch it. I need to feel it. I mean, things can look good. You look on Temu. Things look great on there. Things look great on there. Until you get it. I'll be like, man, I can get a generator for $3.
You know what I mean? So
they said this to you as a Barbie generator. It's like this big.
I mean, we look at what, kind of what Trump has going on with the GOP. I mean, they got a lot more people of color. I'm noticing that. That's one thing. There are a lot more people speaking to him. I think sitting right next to him, at least last night or the night before, was Byron Donald. They're really trying to do a push for the black vote, and I feel like a lot of us are kind of falling into a trap.
Like who?
Lot of people.
Most of the black voters that are voting for Donald Trump are like first or second generation immigrants. Like, they weren't here before the Civil Rights Act. That's when they all started coming in from like Jamaica and the Bahamas and from Africa and stuff, because they were scared to come here before that. They knew what America was. So they're immigrants, bro. To them, they have disdain for us anyway. So they're trying to get on their good side. They didn't move out of their countries to come live around black folks. Look at Byron Donald. His parent, he's a first generation immigrant. That's why he's talking about that crazy mess. Yeah. He's not like us. He's not a foundational black American.
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I waited until somebody posted it. I had to look it up, but his mama's from somewhere else. Yeah. He's not a foundational American. His family didn't go through slavery.
And at the same time, then he also has he's also, I can just already tell he doesn't really care what's said to him or how he's treated or how our people are even treated. When we really have to also look at, if we were just in a minute, we switch subjects, is like, who does show us respect and where's that respect? I mean, we're not just the respect, but where do we hold our power? And it's not in the Republican Party. It never has been, and it never will be.
It's not really with the Democrats either, man.
Crazy.
They're mostly like, they come around hey, I got this jazz machine because I need your vote.
Crazy, man.
Let me come to your churches.
Let me.
You see Biden in a black church? He was like, are there people even in the stands? It's too dark in here.
Let me go into something that someone said on one of our comments. This is basically a guy came out and he was like, if you don't vote for me, then you ain't black, which is a play on the comment that Biden had made to what was his name, Charlemagne the God.
Yeah.
When he did an interview with Biden. This is when he was running in 2020. And to me, it was the most ignorant thing Biden not ever said, but it was a very ignorant thing for him to say. To me, I mean, it's like to me, I believe that one of his black friends or somebody who a senator, I believe, was probably James Clyburn, but that's just me saying, that's not my opinion. Probably said that to him in passing, like as a joke. But Biden doesn't understand that this is something you're just not supposed to come out of your mouth. It can come out of James Clyburn's mouth, but it can't come out of yours. And he said that to Charlemagne the God. And to me, I felt bad for Charlemagne but he took it though. He understood at the moment we needed him to take that. Take that on the
Well, Charlemagne the God he's a journalist at the end of the day. So it's like people are supposed to say crazy stuff. You're supposed to just keep asking them questions to see if you can get them to say more crazier stuff. But look, Joe Biden said that like he just got off the spades table and got three shots of Hennessy.
Like he hasn't said some other crazy stuff before in the past. You need to never really comment about that type of stuff in your life. But but I made a comment to it. This was a comment. This was something in our comments. I'm like, this person said that, and I'm just looking at the comment. I'm like, well, if you really think about it, the first not only first female vice president, but the first black female vice president in history, Joe Biden brought her.
Well, he just said he came out he was giving a speech in front of the NAACP, and he was like, I know what a black job is. He's like, it's vice president of the United States.
And he also said it's the president of the United States, the person who gave me my first big job. Because he was a senator for many years, ran for president plenty of times, never was able to even get past 2% of the vote. But Barack Obama gave him the opportunity. To me, that opportunity yielded a lot of I won't even say goodwill, but just understanding at that point.
It's like Keenan Ivory Wayans when he gave the job to Jim Carrey. So Jim Carrey was like, yo, nobody wanted to give me a job. He's like, the only person that gave me work was Keenan Ivory Wayans.
Black dude.
Yeah.
And at the same time, okay, we got the first black vice president, first female vice president. Then we also we got the first black secretary of defense under Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Very first one in history. And at the same time, on top of that, we got the first black female Supreme Court appointee under Joe Biden in history. Then on top of that, we've had more black federal court judges appointed under Joe Biden in history.
Yeah.
I mean, these are
somebody also posted
things.
this too. They're like, look, if I got to look up what Joe Biden has done for black folks on Google, then he ain't done enough. He hasn't done enough for me to be affected.
I think people, affecting you, only thing that's going to affect the person is if he says, here you go, put something in your pocket. That's the only thing that person feels like is going to affect them. But they don't have an understanding of how these things do have an effect on just psyche. I mean, like our first black president, what kind of a psychological effect did that have on people?
When Barack Obama first got elected, my whole thoughts was like, finally, it's over. We can all be equal. There will be no more hate in America. Everything will be cool. I did. And then 2 weeks came on and
I didn't believe that. I just knew that it was.
That's what I thought. I thought hope. I'm like, look, now we're all equal. Everybody's done everything. We have a black president. Everything will be fine. That's me being naive.
Yeah. I mean, I won't, but you said it.
Yeah.
But this is how I knew. This is how I feel about it. I understand sea changes. In 2008, we got our first black president. In 2010, it became the first year that there was ever more minority births than there were births of people who are non-minorities in this country. It's like sea changes don't just happen overnight most times.
Well, when Barack Obama got elected?
Yes.
Oh, because everybody thought he was going to get rid of child support. I'm joking. Good girl, we don't need this no more.
And so, but it's just, it was something that was happening over time. It takes a long time to switch over that, but it will never go back to this again. It'll never go back to what it was. And so these things are just are patterns that are going to happen over time. All we're doing is just walking down time.
It's
People
crazy.
Just don't really understand that.
It's crazy. Also, it's like I'm looking at the polls. I mean, I don't trust polls, no way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But the polls, I don't know why I'm speaking on it then, but they're saying like Trump still's losing. No matter
who said that.
Every poll that
I've seen is saying Biden's behind everybody. I mean, on top of that, though,
they even said about they asked the Republicans or whatever before it was kind of equal, 44% to 44% or whatever. But they're saying that he's losing by a point. See, like I'm saying, polls, and I've explained this to people before, and I'm gonna say this on camera. When these people take these polls, think about this, people. You've never been asked to take a poll. They're taking these polls in their office. You know what I'm saying? They're going around the office. They're just asking people in the office, hey, what do you think? And then they come back with these polls. Like, they don't call. I've never met anyone's been called for a poll. I think someone called me yesterday. I was like, no, I ain't got time for this.
I've never been called for a poll either. But on top of this, though, just to kind of go along the same thing, Biden's COVID diagnosis comes at the worst possible time for his campaign. President Joe Biden's COVID diagnosis on Wednesday's afternoon could hardly have come at a more devastating time. Not only did he cut short a 2-day campaign swing in Nevada, but it threatens to deepen Democratic anxieties over and resistance to his reelection campaign, which has been teetering for nearly 2 weeks since his abysmal performance in his first debate with former President Donald Trump. The news, first announced to a crowd of Hispanic activists awaiting his speech in Las Vegas and shortly thereafter confirmed by the White House, will surely deepen concerns about Biden's age, health, and stamina that have many Democrats calling for him to step aside as the party's presidential nominee. Perhaps even more importantly, it could create a vacuum that privately skeptical Democrats now feeling a heightened sense of urgency may feel inclined to feel by amping up their pressuring campaign.
Man, yeah, he got COVID. Okay, it happens. You know what I'm saying? He has the best medical care that the government can afford to politicians. He'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? I think people are just coming out just to be spoken out just so they can say something. You know what I'm saying? Just to be seen at the moment. He's still going to be the nominee unless something happens between now and September, which I doubt is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? He's still working. Like, here, I want to add to that article. You know, President Biden just reportedly considered overhauls of the federal judiciary, including the imposing of term limits for Supreme Court justices and binding a code of ethics. It's not immediately clear when Biden may announce his backing of reform for the federal judiciary, but it's highly unlikely any of such measures would pass both chambers Congress nor hold up the constitutional muster if he issued an executive order. So that may have been a little jumbled. But what he wants to do is he wants to put term limits on Supreme Court justices, and he wants to put a code of ethics, which we need to have anyways.
I mean,
it's like, is he sick or is he working?
You would hope that he steps in, and he does something about the Supreme Court stuff, because it's pretty much a done deal.
He's the king now.
Once he's out of office, man, and if Trump takes over, we understand that this 2025 Project 2025 is already being enacted, and it'll be easier for them to enact. On top of this, though, me looking at this COVID diagnosis, I mean, I feel like it's almost a easy way for him to bow out.
Yeah, but he could be over COVID. I mean, it depends what kind of COVID you get. There's so many strains out now. Like, shout out to my boss or whatever. He just caught COVID, right? But he caught it, and then it lasted for about 2-3 weeks, this new strain that he got. And now he's still having long COVID. And the COVID affects everyone differently. Some people get COVID, you have mild symptoms like President Biden has right now. Some people get COVID, your hair falls out, you lose your taste. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of different strains of COVID, and we just kind of ignored it after a while because we're just like, everyone's over it. So I mean, he'll be fine. Like I said, when Donald Trump got COVID, they gave him the shot to rage him up. He was rage tweeting everybody. Like, it's not that serious. Now, if we get a report in 2 days where it's like Joe Biden's bedridden and Kamala Harris is up there with some braids and a pretty wig, then we know something's up. You know what I'm saying?
That's not necessarily the fact that he's going to get sick over it, but to me, just watching him and watching his just his speeches and everything, he's gotten markedly slower. If we were just watching from even 2020 till now, or if watching from even before that, 2016 or 2015 till now, it's bad. I mean, it's really, really bad. He can't. I mean, for what, it's high stakes right now. Just trust me, I like Joe Biden. I don't want him. I wish Biden was the Biden of, give me 2020 Biden and we would be good. I'll be straight. We were ready to go. Yeah. Even with 2020 Biden. You know what I mean?
But who would you replace him with?
It's got to be Kamala. And I don't think, I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't think that Kamala is even the person for it, but you cannot. This is what I wanted to bring up. I was watching Joy Reid, watching a couple of different people, Rachel Maddow. And it's not always that I watch that channel because I really don't like to watch anything that's too far left or too far right.
I don't like CNN.
That's MSNBC.
Oh yeah, they're all right. I want to say I don't like CNN.
I try not to watch anything like that. I'd rather just, But anyway, so they were talking about it, and I'm listening to them, and they're kind of almost. Joy Reid has a lot of different people that she deals with within the Congressional Black Caucus, which is the House of Representatives, all the black members of the House of Representatives who are Democrat. They've made a caucus together. They all kind of came together and made like a group or a voting block, pretty much like 50 something of them that are all Democrats, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, everyone's saying that they'll be really angry if Kamala Harris gets looked over down. They couldn't put up with that. You know what I mean? Which I understand.
Joy Reid's, I feel Joy Reid's she's not a foundational Black American either.
Are you sure? What is she?
Yeah, her father's from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and her mother's from Ghana.
Well, she damn sure speaks like one.
Of course she does. She's a first generation. I'm just saying that you see there's these shells.
I see what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, though, more the Congressional Black Caucus, most of them are foundational Black Americans. They are. And they're all like, we're in a situation. Kamala, to me, man, I feel like sometimes she speaks like down to Black people to a degree. Sometimes, you know what I mean? You get that from her. But I know Kamala's also a pit bull.
I mean, I'd rather someone speak down to me than speak about me. You know,
I'm talking about when she goes and does interviews certain times with Black people, she'll kind of give them more of an attitude than what I'm gonna see her give other people. But I feel like she feels more comfortable. Maybe it's a comfortability thing, or maybe it's something else. I don't know.
Well, she know Tyrone can't take her job like Tommy.
And what I also feel like is that am
I lying?
Is that I feel like if you put her in office, man, she'd be a killer in there. I feel like she'd be like a Nancy. People don't like Nancy Pelosi, but I like Nancy Pelosi. I think Nancy Pelosi was great at her job. She did what she's supposed to do. I think Kamala would be a killer at her job. She's one of those people. She has more of I think she has a killer instinct in her, man. This is what I see from her. She just does. She's going to go after what she wants, and she's going to handle her business. She's one of those type of people. You know what I mean? So I just don't know who would be her running mate. I've been hearing one person who I would not want it to be is Gavin Newsom. I just don't like Gavin Newsom. There's a lot of reasons why I don't like him. He's one to me. I would.
What about our governor?
What do you mean? Man, that guy's Inslee.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with it.
Nah, I don't like Inslee either, bro. He made it so we can only have like less than 10 round magazines in our rifles and stuff. I don't like that.
Just the way
I don't like that at all. We live in Washington, like by the woods. The wild animals, and China's on the other side. There's an article I want to read. So this election is going to have major consequences. So Senator Elizabeth Warren said that there's enough votes in the Senate to suspend the filibuster and codify Roe v. Wade protection. If Democrats keep control of the Senate and White House and take back control of the House come November, Warren said there's enough votes to codify Roe v. Wade into the law. The filibuster allows Congress to delay or block votes on legislation by preventing debate on the measure from ending. We will suspend the filibuster. We have the votes for Roe v. Wade, Warren says. Now, I'm saying this election is going to have a lot of consequences. Now, ladies and gentlemen, and I keep saying this again, we're here at the same crossroads, all right? The same thing with Hillary Clinton.
We were here in 16 before.
We've heard this before. You have a chance to make a difference, but you're trying to be uppity and uptight and superficial about why Biden's too old. The Democrats in it. Look, it's the future of your country. This is a major election. You're
worried about like if he can. Oh, I don't think he can be. When has the president ever really had to do anything? The president does not make laws. They just sign the laws. They tell you what every time you hear about a president's vision for the country, you never really see it get accomplished because he doesn't get to even write bills. That's for the Congress to do. Yeah. That's what they do. House representatives, they write bills. Senate might come together and put together a few bills here and there, but he doesn't really do anything. The one thing you can say, like Barack, he came in with sometimes the agenda gets done, but it's mostly being done by other people. And so I think that we just get too caught up in Democrats don't care about black people. Man, wait till you look at the other party and tell me how much they care, because I don't see them doing anything for anybody. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Me personally, at all. I haven't seen them do anything that shows anybody like we care about the people at all. You know what I mean? And so,
which party?
The Republicans.
Yeah, they care about people. That. Rich people.
Exactly. But
they did all them think about
to vote for them.
They did all these tax cuts for the rich, right? Mm-hmm. And who's paying for it right now, ladies and gentlemen? We are. Yeah. All of us. Your gas is expensive. Your groceries are expensive. The rent's gone up. Your insurance has gone up. Everything has gone up because these corporations that were supposed to trickle down this money to you said, nah, we're going to keep the money from the tax cuts and double down and take more from you.
Yep. And we're going to raise prices. How can they come back and say to you, I'm going to lower your grocery prices by 30%? Only way a person can do that is if they're already tacked on the extra 30% on top of what they were already getting. They don't care. They're like, okay, we can give them back to them now. We done took it for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
We can give it back to them now. The reason I was bringing up Gavin Newsom because I had a good friend of mine come on my page and say something about this new California law, which is California bans school districts from outing trans kids. Governor Gavin Newsom on Monday signed a bill to protect transgender and gay students from being outed to their parents, making California the first state to explicitly prohibit school districts from adopting such requirements. The new law will override policies passed by school boards in red pockets of the state that require staff to notify parents whose children show signs of being transgender. It will also upend the legal landscape around those rules, which were challenged by progressive groups in several courts with mixed results. I mean, basically what they're saying is like they would have it so that teachers would notify people's parents if they wanted to be called by a different kind of a pronoun or whatever, or if they wanted they would tell their parents. Well, I agree with that. I agree with that. You should tell a person's parents that. I don't think that should be that shouldn't be a secret, because nothing else is a secret when it comes to your kid. Kid gets bad grades or he acts out in school or whatever the case may be. It may show signs of something else being afoot with the child. If the kid's already starting to kind of show other kinds of, okay, I think I'm this, or I think this, or I think that. They don't know. If they think it, either you are or you're not. They don't know. And so let me know so I can talk to my kid about this. Don't hide anything from me. A teacher has so much on their plate. How can they remember to try to make sure or even comfort your child individually? They should definitely tell the parent, because that could lead to other things. Now you got this guy who didn't,
I'm just saying, it's like, when I was in school, I guess times have changed. When I was in school, they wouldn't even give us condoms. They were like, practice abstinence, but this is, I remember California had a law they passed recently. I think it was like last year, the year before, where it was like, if the parents didn't recognize their kids' sexual orientations, they would take them from them.
I would never want Gavin Newsom to be the Democratic nominee for president or vice president or anything like that. The way he did, to me, the way that the disdain for the parent is what gets me. And this is one of the things. They keep
giving the kids powers they shouldn't have.
This is what one of the things that the Republicans have. Oh, you guys want to push, your sexuality on us. You guys want to do this. This is like one of the things that they have. 'Cause I don't agree with that. I don't either.
That's one thing I don't like. I don't like Greg Abbott.
I'm not against. This is not a anti-LGBTQ.
No, it's an ethical thing.
It's about your child.
It's ethical.
This is your child. It's not anyone else's child. You should be able to. When it comes down to it, man. They act like they care about your kid until your kid turns 18. Then all of a sudden they want to take them to jail, do this to them, do that to them because of their act now. So let the parent be a parent to their child. Period. But
it's also like this. Like, that's one thing I don't like. I don't like Greg Abbott at all. But there's a law that they passed in Texas that I do respect. And he was like, look, if any parent gives their kids sex-altering drugs or sex-altering surgery before they're 18, they'll be arrested for child abuse, which
that's
it
weird,
is.
man. I don't know about that.
I do. I feel about that. I think that's right. Look, you can't buy cigarettes, you can't buy alcohol until you're 21.
But they'll let their kid in Texas. They let you have your kid drink with you. Your kid can be any age and sit at a bar and drink with you in Texas. Man, come on, man. Texas, that's just. But you'll give them alcohol. You're fine with the kid having alcohol or sitting in a bar with their parent drinking. But you don't want. To me, I'm not saying
that's a life-altering choice.
I'm not saying that I agree with that.
Yeah.
This is not me saying that I'm gonna do it or I agree with it. This is me saying that
I agree with it. I think it's child abuse.
I'm not. I don't. That's not my business.
As a person who's
it's not my business.
Excuse me. As a person that's heterosexual, that can actually, my lifestyle, my sexual preference lets me have kids. You know what I'm saying? If I'm the person that's able to make kids for my sexual preference, I feel in my mind, in my personal beliefs, that's child abuse. I'm not going to have my 13-year-old. Who's already confused enough when their hormones are hitting, trying to change sexes. I'm not going to have my 6-year-old come in and be like, hey, Dad, I think I'm a girl, and then try to change their sex. That should be something that should happen when they're 18 and an adult.
And honestly, I mean, I agree with that, but I don't agree with us trying to tell a parent what to do with their child.
No.
That's just me. That's what you're telling them, though. Yeah. But when you say something like that, I don't agree with. You look at like even Dwayne Wade's child. You look at what they're going through, what they're going through over there. But is it right for us? That kid feels like they know what they want to be. You know what I mean? Period. So is it up to us to be like, okay, if Dwayne Wade was decided to do whatever he wants to do with his kid, now he can go to jail because we say so? That's like saying that's the same thing with abortion. It's the same thing with abortion. You have
a son. He wants to dress up as a girl. That's fine. But you shouldn't be able to give him drugs to help him change into a girl. You should be able to. You have to be an adult. The kid has to be a legal adult, and then they can go get the surgery and get the medicine and all that. Because you never know. Kids change who they want to be all the time. Sometimes you want to be everyone goes through their emo phase where they wear dark clothes, and then you come out of it.
But us comparing their sexuality to an emo phase, they're going to take that and they're going to say, oh, well, this is not that kind of a thing. It's, I know what I want to do. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, man. I used to want to be.
I don't feel like you should be doing that at that age either.
I used to want to be a world-class breakdancer when I was 9 years old. It did not work out.
It's different, man. I think
How so?
World-class breakdancer versus a person who's showing signs that, I mean, I've seen people when I was young.
You could tell they was gay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, we all knew. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we all knew.
Something ain't right. You know what I mean? But we're not tripping. Like, we just know that it's not, you're not like the rest of us. We're talking about one thing. You're being quiet.
But also, let's talk about when we were kids, you weren't allowed to be gay.
Yeah, I mean,
you weren't.
A fact. I mean,
that's big fact.
Things are different now, man.
Yeah,
things are way different now, like way different now. And I'm happy that they are, because as I got older, man, it helped me to understand what that meant. Like people, like you know how many people killed themselves?
Yeah,
because they couldn't talk about who they really were.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's
I've talked to many gay people, and they were like hateful. Thing. They were they became alcoholics. They were angry because they couldn't be who they wanted to be.
People like that, man, it was a hateful thing, and I can't act like I was innocent in all that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and so it was a very hateful thing for the world to have done, and I think that's why the pendulum is swinging so far the other way, because it's like, you let me out of here, you let me talk, now I'm gonna talk, and I'm gonna scream it through you know what I mean, through everything. And I think that's why it's swinging so broadly, and it's swinging too far for people who are like, even like myself. I don't feel like, I mean, I'm not okay with that, but I'm okay with it because it's not me. It doesn't have anything to do with me. But don't bring it to my household and tell me that you're going to teach my children this, and this. I don't want my kids.
That's what everyone's anger about.
That's what I'm not okay with.
That's what everyone's anger. And I can understand.
You know,
don't go to the schools. You don't need to be sitting there reading this stuff.
They're already confused enough.
Yeah.
Period.
That's what it is.
Yes, they should tell children that there are people who that are men that want to be women, or whatever the case may be. Explain that this is true. It's very much a true thing. Let them know that there are people out there like that, men who like men, or women who like women.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Things like that exist, and it's not an evil thing. It's not. It doesn't have to be you, but it's not an evil thing.
But they don't want to force it on the kids, which is crazy.
I don't want to. I was watching a cartoon. If I had a young kid, I wouldn't want that
with my kids, right? And the people they're running through the jungle from a dinosaur or something like that. And they escape the dinosaur, right? They're like, all right, let's go our separate ways. And then the two women are like, hold on, and they kiss. And I'm like, hold on, this is a cartoon, first of all. And the only way you can let these people know that these two are gay is that they have to do something sexual towards each other.
And it's in everything now. It's in everything.
And that's the only way you can tell.
Everything, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so normalized that I'm like, I don't even see that every day in life.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I know we don't live in a huge city or whatever the case may be, but I don't even see that every day in life. Why am I seeing it on every show and everything? This is what it is.
Not everything needs representation.
And it's like,
if I watch a show and there's no black people in it, I'm fine with that. I watch Game of Thrones.
I don't know, man. I'm not okay with that.
I like Game of Thrones.
When I was younger, I always wanted to see black people on shows. That's why I kind of understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but it's not everywhere.
It's
just like
I think the idea of it is a little bit
just like even Yellowstone. That black dude didn't need to be in that show.
Yeah, he did need to be in the
show.
He
didn't.
They got to quit acting like black people. We were the first cowboys.
We were the first cowboys. That's where the word came from. Cowboy. Hey, cowboy. That's what they called them. That's why they call them cowboys, because they would call them boy, they call them cow. But hey, speaking of kids, I just want to read this little article here. So it says, 20-year-old who almost killed Trump was a bright student, had a job, and belonged to a gun club. The 20-year-old shooter who attempted to assassinate former President Donald Trump was a direct dietary aide at a nursing home, a bright student, and a member of a gun club. Thomas Matthew Crooks belonged to a shooting club based in Clairton, PA, nearly 9 miles from his family home in Bethel Park. Attorney Robert S. Bothy III confirmed to the Times that Crook, who was shot and killed by the Secret Service agent, was a member of the Clairton Sportsman's Club. Now, I read this article, and I want people, you're probably going to get upset when you hear me, but you see how they humanize this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They made him human. He was a dietary aide. He was a great student. You know? They don't do that for us. You know what I'm saying? This dude tried to assassinate a former president, and they're trying to humanize him.
They would have been calling us thugs, whatever they could possibly say.
His dad committed a crime when he was 5, so the son was going to be, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy how they still do that. I mean, you see it all. I mean, we kind of knew this was coming, though. Yeah,
you know, they should be painting him out to be the monster that he is, because at the end of the day, there's a lot more information coming out. Like, even with this, like, say the father of Trump gunman called police about son before attack. The father of the gunman who tried to assassinate Donald Trump called police before the Saturday shooting because he was concerned about his son, according to media reports. The call is one of a number of red flags revealed in recent days that law enforcement was notified about before gunshots rang out at Trump's Pennsylvania rally on Saturday. Law enforcement, especially the U.S. Secret Service, has faced mounting questions about security with calls by some lawmakers that the head of the agency should resign. Matthew Crook's father called police because he was worried about his son and his whereabouts, a law enforcement source told BBC's new partner CBS. It's unclear when the call was made, but it was before the shooting. And so I'm listening to this. I'm like, okay, this dude's 20 years old. It's not a kid. Let's not sit here.
He's not a kid. He's a grown ass man.
This is a 20-year-old man with a job. He's already got his own job. He's in the gun club, all kinds of extra shit, right? You know, so
yeah.
Okay. Now, whose parent, just because you don't come home or because he told me, actually the kid, the guy told his work that he wasn't going to work on Saturday. So he told him he's going to come in on Sunday. I'll see you guys on Sunday. You know, that was the whole setup thing. I'll see you on Sunday, but I'm taking Saturday off. He switched days, I guess, with someone on Saturday so he could be back to work on Sunday. So, I mean, whose parents are calling the police because they don't hear from you for a couple hours?
Well, they said he was alone. He probably had no friends.
You knew this dude was doing something. There's no way you're calling the police, though, bro. You're calling the police because he's not around.
I think it was an inside job. I mean, that's a conspiracy, but
folks, on, man.
Nothing makes sense here. Nothing makes sense about this. He got through with the gun. He was on the roof. The roof wasn't secured. The Secret Service didn't bust back a dude until he shot a couple times. He'd been walking on the fairgrounds a few days before, too, like walking around the fairgrounds. Yeah, exactly. They said he might have hidden the gun on the fairgrounds during that time when he was walking around. But he had explosives in his car. You didn't have a dog checking the vehicles coming in?
The actual building, just in his car. That car could have been parked in the parking area. That's probably not even being.
But all that should have been secured.
Parking areas, I'm going to leave a parking area to be a parking area, especially if it's far enough away from the, or a blast site couldn't.
From the venue or whatever.
Yeah, who cares? You try to do that. It's a lot of extra.
Well, the blast, it's not about the bomb. You make a bomb like that, you put like, ball bearings in it. You put ball bearings and nails in it.
How far is that going to travel, though?
It'll travel pretty far. How far is a bullet travel? It's the same thing.
Yeah, but
they'll go far. It'll still do damage.
They got other cars. It's probably too much air for him.
It would slow down, but no, you put enough shrapnel inside of a bomb, it's going to do a lot of damage.
They said they thought he was going to be making it back because he had all that stuck in the car. He was like, man, if I make it back to my car, but I guess in the building that he shot from, they said that the reason why I was watching the head of the Secret Service, she said that the reason they didn't have any Secret Service agents on that roof is because it's a slanted roof. He got up there, but they said that because of that, it was like a injury risk or like someone could have got hurt because of the roof was slanted, blah blah blah.
Well, think about it. Somebody did get hurt because the roof was slanted.
So they said they used the building there was actual police inside the building. So this dude could actually walk around, still get up on top of your building, even though you got police.
You got cops inside. And they must have been louder. You can't hear it. No, he was army crawling. But no, a lot of this is not making sense. Somebody set this up. Because they saw him on the roof, he shot, then they shot. They should have took him out before that. Man.
I told you what I think about him. I think it had a lot more to do with other things than it did. But I feel like at the end of the day, they're trying to get rid of him.
Yeah, yeah.
Before, they feel like he's just.
That's the only thing that makes sense. And also, I want to say, because of this, people across the nation have lost jobs after posts about Trump's shooting. It's just not Tenacious D's bandmate Kyle Gass. In the wake of a violent assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump's life, plenty of people took to social media to make jokes and comments, and they're reaping the consequences. School employees, restaurant workers, a fire chief, and a political aide have all lost their jobs or resigned after outrage over the post, according to a statement by employers and news reports. Meanwhile, Jack Black, the other member of Tenacious Duo, said he was blindsided, and he announced he was ending the rest of their tour and would pause any plans to work with Gass again in the future. So, and I saw one where a lady, she made a post, and they found her, and I talked about this before, she worked at Home Depot. They went in there with the camera, and it was like, so you want President, you're upset that they missed Trump and all this stuff, da-da-da-da, and they got her fired. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You got to watch what you do on the internet, first of all.
That's crazy.
Second, you don't post things on Facebook because it has your name and your information on there. And you don't use an email that's linked to your job.
To me, it's crazy. You should be able to say what you want to say. Period.
You can. But you can't say without consequences.
They missed them. People say what they want to say.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, you have one job, homie.
You want to say that's how you feel.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been happy had they had killed him. I think that's not the way you win an election. You don't win an election by killing your opponents. That's not what we do in this country. It's not what we should be doing in this country.
Yeah.
However, people should have the right to say what they want, because I remember he was telling people, beat the. Remember, they had a person at one of his rallies. He was like, beat him up. You know, he said basically said F him up. You know what I mean? And
he made fun of Paul
really
Pelosi.
care.
That's the one side. See, but in Republican people, when they say racist stuff, or not all Republicans are racist, but when people say racist things, or they do like, you know, those people that be on camera and they'll be driving and they'll start calling people like, get out of our country, you wetback and this and that. They find them, they get fired. Mm-hmm. You have the freedom of speech to say whatever you want in America, but you don't have the freedom of consequence.
Absolutely.
And that's what it is. And that's why I go on Twitter, because I can be whoever I want. Like I said, folks, don't use an email link to anything that you do. That's what you do on social media. You put up a picture that's not you, use it, create a new email, and then you can be stupid all you want. Because on Facebook, I'm Bruce Wayne. But on Twitter, I'm Batman.
Hey, U.S. received intel of Iranian plot to assassinate Trump. The United States received intelligence in recent weeks about an Iranian plot to assassinate former President Donald Trump. U.S. officials said the Secret Service shared the details of an increased threat with the Trump campaign. The White House declined to comment, but said there were no indication that the suspected shooter in Saturday's attempted assassination of Trump had any foreign or domestic accomplices. Iran said accusations against it were unsubstantiated and malicious. U.S. officials have for years worried that Tehran would retaliate against Trump for his ordering of January 2020 killing of Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani. As we have said many times, we have been tracking Iranian threats against former Trump administration officials for years, dating back to the last administration. Spokesperson for the White House National Security Council said.
All of a sudden, Iran is. I mean, he's done some dirty stuff to Iran.
But yeah, a lot of it. A lot of dirty stuff to Iran.
He got rid of the Iran nuclear deal or whatever, and then he killed the two people.
You remember when Iraq threatened?
You remember when Iran bombed us back, right? And they messed up a couple soldiers.
I mean, they threatened Bush the first Bush though too, but after he threatened his life. That's why Bush the second one, they pumped him up to go into Iraq the second time.
Yeah, that's Iraq. But see, Iran, I remember like he attacked. Donald Trump killed somebody in Iran, bro, and they bombed us back. And they hurt a bunch of soldiers. Like, a lot of people got injured. And then Donald Trump was like, whoa. Kind of he didn't think nothing was going to happen. Just like, you know, here getting shot in the air. He's a bully. You're always a bully until somebody shows you that you could be touched.
Yeah.
You know, so, I mean, this is crazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is not the only assassination attempt on Donald Trump or this accusation here now. I'm pretty sure it won't be the last.
I think it's the closest. I think this is the closest that anyone will get, man. They're about to be, you're going to have rallies where MAGA just sits outside with their guns.
Arms. Yeah, of course.
I mean,
they're probably upset they couldn't do it last time. Because if I was Donald Trump, that's what he says. Let them in. He's like, that's what he said when he did January 6th. They were like, yo, they got guns. He's like, no, let them in. Those my people.
They're not here to hurt.
They're not here to hurt me.
That's what he said.
Exactly. It's real facts. And so, I mean, we're going to see as that develops. And the last thing I want to leave us off with, Navy exonerates 256 black sailors unjustly court-martialed in World War II Port Chicago blast. The U.S. Navy has exonerated 256 black sailors who were unjustly court-martialed in 1944 following the Port Chicago explosion in California that killed 320 people. The sailors have been punished for refusing to go back to work in what they considered to be an unsafe environment. Their prosecution took place at a time when the U.S. military was still segregated and reflected the unfair treatment that black sailors experienced. The 256 sailors were exonerated by Navy Secretary Carlos Del Toro on the 80th anniversary of the accident. Deadly World War II era blast, which also injured 400 other people. The explosion at an ammunition loading area also damaged 2 ships and a train and caused damage to nearby town of Port Chicago, located east of Oakland, California.
You know that during that time, I guess the white sailors who wouldn't come back didn't get in any trouble at all, but it was just the black sailors who did. This is why they're exonerating them now, because it's of the unfair treatment. You have people who say, I had a guy go on my page and say, you guys are living in the past. People don't understand how the past affects where you're at today. If you buy a house 20 years ago, 20 years later, that house is going to be worth a lot more than what it was 20 years ago. That's just how things affect you.
That's
things
crazy.
That happen from the past affect you in the future. The little things, you know what I mean? So something like this.
I don't want to keep living. People think black folks want to live in the past. No, we want to keep moving on. Just y'all keep bringing it up and keep acting like it's the past. But the fact of the matter is, you cannot get over things that have happened. We're the most resilient people in this country, period, by far. None of you have had to go through, not just saying what we went through, but just to go through it and then get out of it and then figure it out from there. And that's what they told us to hear. Go figure it out. They helped you guys out the entire time. Basically the guy was like, there's no, I've never heard of a whites only school. I said, really?
You never heard of whites only? Every school was whites only. The reason why they had HSBCUs, historically, or HBCUs, I'm sorry. Exactly. And these were just schools that the only reason they had those because they didn't want to go to our schools.
Well, a lot of people ignore history and they ignore things in their face because it makes them uncomfortable.
It's convenient. It's convenient for them to do that.
But it's nice to be able to do that, you know?
I mean, exactly. And then they want to tell you, well, this guy's racist too. That's nice for you. Good that you finally starting to admit that we're in between a rock and a hard place forever. Whoever we vote for, we got to go with. And we got to go where our power is at.
Yeah, and I don't like it when they do stuff like that. Like, there was a kid that was killed and they exonerated him, but they, he was like 13 or 12 or something like that. They're like, oh, we're exonerating you for this crime. I'm like, he's been dead for 80 years. Apologize. Why don't you give the family some reparations because you ruined a whole bunch of lives because you was just being asses.
And then they kicked. I mean, those people who they kicked out of the military. What did they receive the benefits? What if they, if they would have been able to, term out in the military, do 20 years or wherever they wanted to go do in the military, they would have got pensions. They would have been able to buy homes, do all kind of stuff for their families. That's a lawsuit that they should be able to do something about.
Yeah.
Period.
If the families are still around, because you're just putting a hardship on people.
But people don't want it. Then they're going to say, well, that happened a long time. It's an excuse.
Then why are you apologizing for it now?
It's an excuse for everything. Yeah. At the end of the day, there's always going to be an excuse for everything, especially when it comes to us, because no one, we've already done, it's so cold because they look at us and they're saying, you guys have already built so much on your own with nothing that we don't want to give y'all anything else because then you'll be better and then you'll have more than us, which in all honesty, that's the way it would really be in real life. I'm not saying we'd be better or have more than, but we'd have a lot more, period. It'll be a different situation.
I think they're worried about us riding down their street with 30-inch rims on a Cadillac Escalade playing NBA Youngboy with chains on trying to get their daughters out the house. But
people that's not how it is. Now.
I think everybody, what's crazy?
Exactly.
The media helps it too.
That's already happening.
Everybody wants to live in peace. You want to go to work, make good money, come home, eat some good food, and enjoy your life. That's all everybody wants to do.
And I don't even think that it's just that people worry about that in particular.
Yeah.
What you're saying. I think it's just it's a like Lyndon B. Johnson said. He said you can if you make the lowliest white man feel like he's better than tell him he's better than any black man, he'll give you the money out of his pockets himself. He will just hand you all the money out of his pockets. If you can just make him feel better than somebody else, especially he said black man. This is Lyndon B. Johnson, who was a president of the United States at one point in time. Yeah. He was known to use the N-word in the White House a lot. You know what I mean? So this is something that's well known in history. So I'm happy that they were able to come in and exonerate those guys and give them back whatever they had coming as far as a reputation wise. But
the damage is done.
Damage is done.
Yeah, and we're gonna leave you at that. Uncommon courtesy. We're gonna see y'all next time.